You just can't beat the quality of cut that you can get from a good sliding miter saw set up with a good blade. So that's what I want to talk to you about today is what characteristics to look for when you're shopping for a blade for your sliding saw. Make sure you get the right one hung in there. A couple things now I want to point out for you to look for when you're shopping for a blade to get on your sliding miter saw. First is, let's talk about tooth count. So this 80 right here tells me 80 teeth around the rim of this 10-inch blade. I'd like to see that number at least 60. 80's better. That's part of what works to give you that nice smooth cut like I just saw in the end grain of that piece of red oak. The other thing that's really, really important is what's called the hook angle on the teeth, shown right here on the blade. It's a -5. Now, what that means is that when you look at the teeth themselves, that tooth is leaning back away from the cut at a negative degree. What we want to do is make sure that you don't get a real strong positive hook on this that could be grabby on the material that you're trying to cut. So -5 is good, up to +7 as far as acceptable hook angle goes for your blade. That grabby idea also affects our tooth count. You don't want to just grab any blade you have for your table saw and get it on your sliding miter saw. If this tooth count is too aggressive, meaning the number is too small, it's going to be very, very grabby and a little bit dangerous when you bring it over here and try to cut wood with it. So again, fine tooth count, negative hook angle, up to about 7 degrees positive. The other thing that we can see here on the blade, if you go back to our hook angle call out, right there it says TCG. What that stands for is the tooth geometry itself. It means triple chip grind. And for that, if we look at the tooth, so if we look at this tooth right here, it's got kind of a tombstone look to it. The top of it is flat. This corner's been ground off. The opposite corner's been ground off. That's the triple chip part. 1, 2, 3. That triple chip grind is a great tooth geometry to have for a sliding miter saw where you're going to be cutting slightly abrasive materials. So if you commonly cross-cut on your miter saw anything in the particle board family, non-ferrous metals like I'm about to show you in a second, triple chip grind is a great choice for that. If you're primarily working with solid wood, an alternate top bevel tooth pattern will work fine for that. So a bunch of characteristics here. Make sure you're shopping the right characteristics. I'm going to get this blade back on the saw and show you just how well it does cross-cutting even something non-ferrous like a piece of aluminum. I've got the blade back on the miter saw here. I'm set up to cut this piece of aluminum. Now, one thing to notice about this approach is that I've got a wooden block behind the aluminum angle iron to support it. That's going to help make sure we don't get a lot of burrs on the inside of the cut. Watch just how well this works. So there we are. That's nice and clean on the inside. Just a second or two with a piece of sandpaper or a file is going to take off the tiny bit of burr we've got there. So a couple reminders about getting the right blade on your sliding saw. We want negative hook up to about 7 degrees positive. High tooth count, 60 to 80 teeth on a 10-inch blade. I really like that triple chip grind, which gives me the ability to get into these more abrasive materials like non-ferrous metal, MDF, particle board, plastic laminate, plexiglass. So it's a really, really good blade to hang on the saw to make sure you're getting the best possible cut out of your slider.